How's it going, guys? Took my Lexus ISF to get the panels replaced and got this beautiful Lexus RX 350. So I'm just going to talk about it a little bit here.
The touch screen is amazing. Although my mom made a good point. She didn't like. Now, I'll just say everything she liked and didn't like because it's pretty short. She didn't like how, for typically, as I've stated before, Lexus is for older people. She is older. She's in her 60s, I believe it now. And she had a hard time getting in the vehicle. Just because she has bad knees, she's had varicose veins and etc. So she doesn't have the best time getting into the vehicle, which is strange given the fact that the demographic is older people generally. But it does appease to the younger crowds too. I wouldn't say, obviously, unless you're a trust fund or a hedge fund kid, that you could afford this vehicle at 20. Or in your 20s rather, but once you're reasonably successful and you can afford this car, you would still enjoy it if this was your type of vehicle. Maybe it's just my perception of luxury, but I love the wood grain feel here. It doesn't feel like a wood per se. It's not that much different than the soft touch steering wheel around it. But you could feel that it's wood. At least if it's fake wood, it's a very good fake wood. Something I did not see, unlike the Lexus UX, is a wireless charger, which doesn't mean that it doesn't have it. It simply, that's something I haven't seen yet. So I haven't played much with it. The cooled seats are tremendous because you could have a very warm interior while keeping cool on long trips. It makes it extremely bearable by comparison in other cars, and it was enjoyable. The sound system, top notch. It's not for audiophiles. It's not going to be the best thing ever, but it's top notch. It's some of the best audio I've heard, and I've been in quite a few luxury cars in my life, and expensive vehicles in general. But yeah, this is a great car, and definitely a good consideration. This RX 350L has been freaking incredible, honestly. The only complaint I do have about the Lexus RX 350 is it's kind of weird how it's supposed to be a luxury car, and I kind of feel like this is a lot of luxury cars now, but rather than go the luxurious, like, pillowy route when it comes to the feeling of how it drives, it's a little stiffer than, like, say, 90s or even current day, like S-Class and higher end luxury models that have better suspension. It's kind of sad because honestly this doesn't feel much better than my F-150, which is a truck, obviously. But other than that, and I'm used to it. Like, for me, it doesn't matter. But for somebody who might actually care about ride quality and having kids in the car and all that stuff, this car would be a little rough, honestly. But this one has all of the features that the last vehicle had, the Lexus UX had, and then some. Quite frankly, I've fallen in love with this vehicle. If it wasn't for my obsession with fast cars, I would definitely consider this as an option. They're relatively affordable, right in the $35,000 range. If you get a used one, 20,000 miles, maybe 30,000 miles, and that's really good. So you can get a CPO one, in other words, for a really good price. Pretty much the cost of a new Ford Fusion, well-equipped Ford Fusion or Toyota Camry. So I mean, that's a steal right there. You get heated and cooled seats, obviously. Charge ports out, out the what. And similar to the UX, it has this little deal where you control the screen through here, which is kind of cool. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. It just feels dated. I think it was a novelty, and that kind of stuck around. I think the touchscreen is sufficient because if you are stationary and you are able to touch the touchscreen, you're perfectly fine. If you're driving, the idea is that you shouldn't be distracted anyway. So it's a beautiful car inside and out. SUV, I should say. The rear legroom is tremendously, exceptional. And you'll have to excuse the fact that I have a bunch of bags and everything everywhere because I'm on a road trip and that comes with the territory. But it's amazing. And again, I would buy this car in a heartbeat if it wasn't for my obsession with fast cars. But the touchscreen is amazing.
So the touchscreen was great. One thing I did notice, however, as beautiful as the touchscreen is, as beautiful as the navigation was, it wasn't very accurate in the best way to get to a long distance. I noticed that I went 300 miles. I checked Google Maps. I checked Apple Maps. And it simply wasn't the best resource for that. But as you can see, there's many options. They're all at your fingertips. At the bottom, it looks a lot like what I would perceive a touchscreen interface to be. They've simply improved it. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They've improved it. And it's simply intuitive. One thing I did notice is as many charger ports as there are, I did find that there was no wireless charging. One thing that's great is that it always goes into a park setting when you do park. You have your knob as well. That gives you the functionality of going off-road, even though you're probably not going to take this luxury SUV off-road. But there's a cubby, plenty of room, a lot of charging ports. You have your garage door opener, which isn't fancy anymore. It's in every luxury vehicle now. I mean, you have basically what a lot of vehicles have now. This vehicle here has a panoramic sunroof. Mine did not. Mine had just a regular sunroof, which is still beautiful. I loved it. I would have loved a panoramic sunroof. The UX I had previously as a loaner was definitely much better with the panoramic sunroof, but you can't always get what you want. So definitely a beautiful option vehicle. And then the back camera was extremely useful, really clear. I had no issues parking, parallel parking when I was in Iowa. Everything about this touchscreen is exactly as it should be. It's clear, it's concise. It is a little far from the driver, so you don't want to be using it when you're driving. However, you do have that touchpad that I showed off a little bit earlier. And again, there's eco modes, which I just kept it in eco mode because the beautiful thing about this car is it goes into eco mode automatically. And then when you step on the gas, you accelerate to about 30 to 40% throttle. You get that accelerated response that you come to expect. It is a beautiful vehicle. The one I got was black and had a different interior. I had a black interior, but definitely nice to be able to recline the seats, get heated seats in the rear, not cooled. Plenty of charging ports. This is definitely a family conscious vehicle, as I stated earlier. It's great for a young family, young successful family at $35,000, but a great vehicle no less. And I would definitely consider it if it wasn't for the problem I have with just Every time I get into an SUV, every time I get into a truck, I have that issue where I want something faster, I want something responsive. This isn't going to win you any rewards or awards. On the other hand, it does respond extremely well for being an SUV. It does respond very similarly to a vehicle. You get that harsh. It's reasonable. Okay, it's not bad. It's not terrible. It's a little bit harsher than I'm used to with luxury vehicles, but you get that responsive. Let's just say responsive over harsh ride quality. And driving in the city, it's not a problem whatsoever. You get bliss, or I guess in this case it would be cross traffic monitoring and whatnot. I don't know what the correct terminology is, but it's definitely useful when you're in traffic. So the city driving in this Lexus RX 350, I had the L model, which is the elongated model, more or less. Rear leg room was a little bit better. Definitely a must buy if you want luxury, quality, reliability, especially if you plan on keeping this for a long time. It's a no brainer.